Okay.
Hey everybody, welcome to another session of Come Cloud with us. I'm your host Abdulkazi, and I have my co-host Chris. Hey Chris, how's it going?
It's going great. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it looks like spring is coming up in North America, or I guess on the East Coast. It was really nice weather today, sunny.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, I always joke, it's the time of the year where you're crying for a different reason because everything is opening up. And for those who have allergies, they can't handle. I'm one of those wonderful folks. But yeah, it's beautiful. Everything's blossoming and opening up. And we're finally starting to get some trees and leaves and flowers and stuff blooming. So,
Yeah, no, we've been waiting this for some time now, so yeah, it should be good. I'm pretty
let's
excited.
go.
So, with that being said, we have a very special guest today. Rachel is with us. Hey, Rachel, welcome back. I know it's been a while, but welcome
Yeah,
back to Come Cloud with
yes,
us. How you
yeah.
doing?
Hi, everyone. Thank
Hey.
you.
So, talk to us about where your journey. I know you've been um, on this journey with Power Platform now, and you're the MVP now. So, yeah, and we've been following your journey for some time now. So talk to us about how you got there and advice for people who are looking forward to getting there.
My journey has been amazing, challenging. It's it's not easy, but I've been in tech now for I think 3 years now. So it's been amazing. So it's a learning process, being a part of the community and being able to discover that, okay, when I started in my journey, these are the things that would have helped my journey better as a beginner. So learning those things gradually, like things I did not know before, now learning them and being like, oh, okay, this is how this is done. Oh, this word, this difficult word that is always being mentioned, this is how it looks like, this is how this was done, this is how the solution was built. So it's been amazing. Yeah.
That's good. That's great. And I know you've been going to a lot of physical conferences now. So what
Yeah.
was the last one you went to?
The last one I went to was last year. Recently I have been attending like visual events. So the last event I went to was last year, and that was Ignite. Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice. That must be big. Yeah, that was a
Yeah,
big one.
it was nice.
Yeah. And are you
Yeah.
planning on going on more conferences this year?
I'm planning to go to a few conferences. It's expensive, so few conferences.
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure. Sure.
yeah.
Okay, cool. With that being said, we'll let you dive into your um, presentation.
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for the opportunity. So, hi everyone. I'm going to be talking about approach Power Platform like a champ. Like what I said, I from the question that Abdul asked me, I said through my journey, I have been able to understand that okay, these are the things that I should have known as a beginner in tech or as a beginner in Power Platform or Dynamics 365 CRM that would have helped make my journey much easier. And I think even for like anybody who is listening that is not in the Power Platform or dynamic space, you can definitely use this. You can also use this advice to also relate in your own journey to help you. Okay. So I'm talking about approach Power Platform like a champ. Okay. And my name is Rachel Irabor. I'm a Microsoft MVP for business application. I'm a Power Platform and a Dynamics 365 CRM developer. I love communities. So if you see any community, you might see me there. So I'm kind of everywhere. I love being a part of the community because the community has helped me in my journey. I've been able to connect with a lot of people in the community, like Chris and Abdul, which are they're both amazing. Okay, so you can see me everywhere where you see the Dynamics and Power Platform community. And the agenda for today is just to give you a little overview about Power Platform, the applications in Power Platform, explain the challenges I faced in my journey in Power Platform, and also give you a little view of the common barriers that beginners face in their Power Platform journey. Okay. And I'm going to be talking about how to make this easier for you. Like, if you are just starting out, what can you do, or what can you learn to make it easier? And I'm also going to be talking about a business problem. We're just going to just look a bit about a business problem and also a use case. Okay. So what is Microsoft Power Platform? So Microsoft Power Platform is like an ecosystem where you get to build solutions. Like, Microsoft has been able to bridge that gap where, even as a citizen developer, that's, you're not a developer, a non-developer, and a professional developer, they can build solutions, they can solve business problems, they can build applications, they can build flows, they can build chatbots, they can build Power Pages. You see, those two different people can create magic with Power Platform. Like, they can solve business problem using Power Platform. And Power Platform is being known as the low code, no code tool, or you can also call it a pro code tool, because especially when you are looking at it from the developer's perspective. Okay. And in Power Platform, we have the Power Apps, we have the Power Automate, Power Pages, Copilot Studio, and Power BI. I've been enjoying a lot about on Power Pages and Copilot Studio. It's really, really interesting, especially when you mix them with Dynamics 365 CRM. It's quite interesting. So for Power Apps is used for building applications. Power Automate, you have your robotic processes, building automations like cutting down repetitive tasks. You have your Power Pages. So Power Pages, you get to build websites. Okay. Then Copilot Studio, you get to use Copilot Studio to build chatbots, which is now known as agents. Okay. Then you have your Power BI, which is very, very popular. So even though you have not heard about Power Platform before, sorry, even though you have not heard about Power Platform before, I'm sure you have at least heard about Power BI. So Power BI is used for reporting and building dashboards. Okay, so challenges I have faced while learning or building a solution. So I think the challenges I faced in my journey was being, like, when starting Power Platform, I was a bit confused, because then when I started Power Platform, there was just, it was Power Visual Agent, it was Power Apps, it was Power Automate, and Power BI. Okay, so we had those four applications, and I was thinking, which of them should I learn? I was trying to learn them all at the same time. That was very, very overwhelming, because each of these applications, they are all very broad on their own. Okay, so I was thinking, okay, which application should I learn? And I was trying to learn everything at the same time. So I was not really, because it might work for you, but I was coming from a background, like, my background was, before I got into tech, my background was that I had no idea that there were careers in tech. I had no idea that things like this existed. Okay, so I came from a background that I had absolutely no idea. Like, I had no idea. So when I came into tech, and the first thing I got to know in tech was Power Platform. So I was trying to learn everything at the same time. That was very difficult for me. And one of the challenges I faced also was, and I think a lot of beginners, they face, either in their journey in tech or in their journey in Power Platform, they know how to, like, for instance, in Power Platform now, you have basic understanding about the tools. Like, maybe you can build a simple app, you can build a simple flow, you can build a website with it, you can build a chatbot, you can do something with it. But can you use it to solve a business problem? If you are given a use case, if you are given a project, if you are given a requirement, can you implement that? Like, can you define that requirement that has been given to you and implement it? I had an issue with doing that. Like, I had a basic understanding of, okay, this is what Power Apps is, this is what I can do, this is what I can do. But okay, how can I implement it? Okay. And I think another issue too was, from, I studied mathematics in school. So, and I think the system, like the educational system in my country where I come from, it's quite different from other countries. Like in the university, when I came abroad, I noticed that universities, yeah, they teach people things like relational database. They teach people programming languages in school. But I was not given that. Unfortunately, I did not have that experience. Nobody talked about relational database. Nobody talked about any programming tool. Okay, so and me coming into Power Platform, I had issues with relationships, with connecting, where you talk about primary keys and for okay, let's say for you now, you are listening. It might sound simple, but things like tables, like when you are giving a everything you are doing, they all depend on data. Like everything you're working with, let's say for Power Platform, it depends on data. If you are building an application, it's on data. Anything you're doing, it's on the data. Okay. So if you are creating a data vast table or you are creating a table with SQL, whatever you are doing, you're working with a table, you're working with a column, you're working with a data type. So you need to understand when to use which column, when to use which data type. You need to understand when to use a lookup column. Like when can you use a lookup column? Like when you see something like this, you're like, okay, there is no need making this a choice column. It should be a lookup column. Okay. Talk about primary keys and most importantly, entity relationship diagram. An entity relationship diagram is just a visualization of the database, like how the data is going to look like for that system. So you need to know how to create an entity relationship diagram. Okay. Then common barriers that beginners face in Power Platform, either being in Power Platform or in their own technical parts, they have like I've seen that spoken to a lot of people and also from personal experience. There is something called there's a lot of people they advise that when you're learning the technology, try to also build projects. I'm going to define this in two ways. Like we tell you that when you're learning technology, it's very important that you build projects alongside because it's very, very interesting and it's fun. If you are learning, if you are just reading, you're watching videos, to your own mindset, you feel that okay, I know this technology, I know this, I know that, I know this. But have you built it? What you said you know, what you said you have read, or the YouTube videos you have been watching continuously, the Udemy courses or whatever you have been doing, have you tried to implement them? Have you tried to build them? Have you tried to solve a simple business problem using the tools that you are learning or creating a fun project just to see, okay, I have done this with this tool. Okay. So that is when you talk about the hands-on experience. That is you building projects and you just reading. Okay. Then another way to look at this also is that when you are doing a personal learning and going into the like for instance you're a beginner, you do not have previous experience of you do not have previous experience of working where you get to work with projects where you get to work with projects of different industry, like different things. You do not have those experience, so you learning personally and then now coming into the workforce is going to be very, very surprising for you. Okay, it's going to be very surprising. So this is just personal learning versus the workforce, like you coming in on a job role, on that particular job role that you have been learning on that particular tool, and then you coming in and then telling that okay, do this, do that. Okay, so if you're working on while you are learning, as you are working on it, just try to be looking for use cases that solve business problem, like real world business problem. Okay, look for people to partner with. To even though no matter how small the project is, look for people to partner with. So this helps you with team collaboration. This helps you with being able to describe what you are doing. Like you get to have conversation with someone to be like, okay, in this particular little use case that we are building, this is the part I have done. This is how I implemented it. Okay. This is the timeline I used for this. It gives you a boost up when you come into the workforce. And the another part is also lack of clear learning paths. You get to a certain point in your journey where you're like, okay, what is the next thing? Maybe you just wrote your first certification and you're like, okay, what is the next thing? What should I do next? Okay. So, and then we have being overwhelmed, like you're trying to do everything at the same time, or you're trying to learn different technologies at the same time. It's very possible, but it's very, very overwhelming. And I think there's one thing I say to myself is that if you're trying to start anything, make sure that you are consistent and you are able to complete, or you can be able to continue what you are doing. If, for instance, now you are learning C sharp, you're learning Power Apps, you're learning Power Automate, you're learning JavaScript, Java, HTML, you're learning Copilot Studio, Power Pages at the same time. Can you cope? Like, can you be doing it every day? Is it possible for you? You need to understand yourself that, okay, if I go into so much this some technology, like if I devote my time into this so much, because apart from you learning, you also have your personal life, or maybe you are also working too. Can you be able to catch up? Will it get to a point where you will give up? So you just need to be manage your time, being able to create a timeline that, okay, for a month I want to learn this technology, the next month this is what I'm learning. You can just create a timeline of what you want to learn. Then another thing is imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome is where you are scared, like especially when it comes to, let's say for instance, let's give an example of AI. Like when AI came in, AI has been there for artificial intelligence has been there for a very long time. But now it's now a buzzword that everybody is using, and it's there, different aspect of it, it's coming out, and you are scared. Like, okay, so I don't have an experience with AI. Should I use it? Is there a need for it? You don't want to touch it. Or even apart from AI, like other technologies, or maybe there is a new update. Maybe there is a new update. Like for instance, now in Power Platform, we have, before Copilot Studio was there, it was Power Visual Agent. Okay. So Power Visual Agent was now, the name was changed and new capabilities and features was added into it. So having that mindset that, okay, should I still learn this Copilot Studio? I was very good in Power Visual Agent already. Is there any need for me to venture into it? So having that doubt, having that mindset that, okay, I do not have the technical knowledge for this. I should just leave it. I should let it go. So those are kind of common barriers that beginners face. Or like you're just starting out, maybe you're learning how to code. You'll be like, okay, I don't think I have the capacity to learn this coding language. I should just drop it. Okay. Then how can you make your learning journey easier, especially for Power Platform? I advise you to understand the fundamentals of the platform, whether it be Power Platform, whether it be Azure or whatsoever technology you are learning. I advise you to learn the fundamentals, like what can this tool do? For instance, now in Power Platform, we have 5. Understand what each of them can do and their limitation. Like having an understanding that, okay, there is Power Apps. Power Apps is divided into these parts. This is if a use case is given to me between using a modern driven app and a canvas app, can I be able to determine which of them I should go for? Talk about Power Automate. For automation, for automation in Power Platform, apart from Power Automate, we also have other features that you can use for automation. Okay, so being able to determine, should I use this instead of using a Power Automate flow? So just having the basic understanding that, okay, these are everything that is in this system. If I'm giving a use case, or a client is talking to me, or I'm having a normal discussion with somebody about a particular feature, can I be able to at least give a basic um, input into that conversation? Okay. Then another thing is understanding relational database. Like I said before, understand relational database, take a course on it. Okay, take a course on it. Learn it. Might sound simple, but try and do something about it. Learn about tables, learn about data types, columns, keys, learn about relationships, the different relationships, and when to create them. Okay, when to create them, learn about how to create an entity relationship diagram, how to connect the relationship between the tables. Okay. Then also understand the environment and the studio you are working with. If it be that you are working with Visual Studio Code, be able to understand where you can click on the file tab, where you can click on your terminal. If it's Power Apps, being able to understand the Power Apps Studio, where you can see the properties, where you can see the controls, where you can add data into your app. Just having an understanding of how everything looks like. Okay. Then another thing is understanding how to solve a business problem. Don't just learn the tool. Don't just take courses. Don't just build projects. Be able to also solve business problems using that particular tool that you are learning. Okay. And build projects alongside your learning. Don't just be on theory, watching videos, reading learning parts, reading books, and you are not implementing what you are learning. And the next one is certification. I see a lot of job roles online where they ask for certification. They might ask you that, okay, do you have a PL 100 certification? For this role, you need a PL 100 certification, PL 200, PL 400, PL 500. So just have, but certification is not that important, but the way everything is going right now, get a certification and also join the community. The community is going to help your growth, is going to help you, is going to help stand for you. You can also reach out to people and ask them questions. Like you can reach out to people, ask them questions like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I don't know what to do next. Or I'm building this. I have this bug. I don't know how to solve it. And I think the last one that is not here is that know how to do research. Okay. Like know how to use your Google or your Edge, like if you have an error message, being able to just debug it on your own using your search engine, or if you want to implement a feature and you don't know how to do it, being able to use the right word to ask your search engine that, okay, this is what I want to do, how can I do it? Because sometimes you can just go to your search engine to do a search and no response comes up because you're not using the right word. Okay, so understand the business problem. So if you are giving a, like right now we have, I'm currently co-leading a non-profit organization with my friend Joanne, and our goal is making people have this experience of being able to solve a business problem and having projects. Okay. And one of the things that we have learned in the Power Platform and Dynamics 365 track is that if you are working with, like for instance now, if a client reaches out to you, a client in the manufacturing system, in the manufacturing industry, they reach out to you and they tell you that we want to solve a business problem that is related to their customer inventory. Okay. They want to solve a business problem concerning their inventory and others management system. And you have no previous experience about the manufacturing industry. You do not have a clear understanding of how, okay, even though I do not understand this company system, how does a customer inventory system look like? Like maybe you had no, not just say generally, not say generally, how does a customer system look like? A customer inventory system look like? You have no clue. Try and just do a little bit of research just to know that, okay, this is just the kind of data this works with. This is how it looks like, just to have a basic understanding so that you'll be able to relate more, and it will give you more understanding of how to go about the project, how to see that, okay, this particular requirement that they are asking for, there will be some gaps that you can be able to recommend that, okay, with this, I think we should include this to it. Okay. Like you can see, understanding a business problem, apart from what we have discussed now, when a client reaches out to you, if they already have, let's say for instance, they want to change they want to move from an old system into Power Platform. Okay, so you need to first of all understand how that old system works. If it's a customer inventory system that is using a manual process, you need to understand, okay, how are they doing this? What step-by-step process are they using for it? Okay, because it's definitely you are going to implement those process also, but you are going to make it more advanced and more nicer. But it's definitely you are definitely still going to implement most of the system that they were using before. So you also need to understand the reason why are they like why now? Why do they want to make these changes? What happened that they want to make these changes now? Because there are a lot of clients, there are a lot of people or clients when you are working with them, they really do not understand what they want. Okay, they really do not understand what they want. So with you being able to understand, get a understanding of the reason why they are changing this system, like the reason why they want to move from their old system to a new one, it gives you a visual that, okay, this is things that they are trying to avoid, this is the goal that they are trying to meet also. Then a lot of mistakes that people make is that when they are given a project, okay, so a lot of mistakes that people make is that when they are given a project, they first of all think about the color, they think about the design. Those are good. They think about the design, how the app is going to look like, how it's going to function. I advise you to pick out the functional requirements before you go to the implementation part of it. Think about the functional requirements. The functional requirements can be the data, can be anything, but think about those things first before you move into the implementation or the building. You're definitely still going to look at that, but it's just a step-by-step process. Then the next one is identifying the tools that will be used. Like when they come to you and they tell you that, okay, this is a problem we are having, we are thinking of using Power Platform. Can you advise us on what application in Power Platform we can use? Okay, so you can be able to give them ideas that, okay, you can, for this solution, I think you should use a modern driven app, a Power Automate flow, you should use SharePoint, you should do this, you should do that. Okay, being able to identify that, okay, these are the things that you should use. And I think a lot of companies, they also have where they mention that, okay, we are trying to minimize the costs, like licensing, the licensing part of it. Just have a basic understanding of those things. Okay, then the next one is, what do you think about the entity relationship diagram for this solution? Build an entity relationship diagram for it. Okay, then understand the columns and their data types that will be used in the solution. So, okay. So, for instance, now we have we have a leave request process, and the leave request process is that, I think this is something that we might all be familiar with. Okay, but if you're not familiar with it, that's fine. You can also even pick this and work on it as a project. Okay, there is a trick that you can use. So we have a leave request process. It's just like normal company where you get to, if you want to go for a vacation leave, you have to ask for a leave. If you want to go for a vacation leave, you need to ask for approval, stuff like that. Okay, so we have, this is how the process works. That send an approval request to manage for leave requests. Okay, and the data they work with is that the type of leave they work with vacation leave, sick leave, maternity leave, and training leave. Then the holiday length of the vacation, they have, like they have a drop down when you are requesting for the leave where you get full day or hours. You also get option of day and afternoon, like do you want to say the whole day or the afternoon of that day. Then you also have a hidden feed that is visible when the hour is selected. Okay, then the next one is that a view showing how many hours or days remaining for the year's vacation leave. So let's say in a year the vacation leave you have is 32 days. So if you take 2 days vacation leave that has been approved, so that would be remaining 30 days. So there should be like a calculation, a view, just showing the remaining days in your leave. Okay. So the system should deduct from the vacation leave. So that is that. Then an email is sent out to the manager with a link in the email that links directly to that leave request that you have made. So if you are giving a use case like this to work on, if you do not have a previous understanding about how this kind of approval process looks like, do a research. Like, okay, or even reach out to people. Like maybe you do not have any work experience, you have not worked in any place that they ask you to do, that you have to leave a leave request. Reach out to people like, okay, how does leave request work in your company? Like, how I just want to have a visual of how this looks like. Give Do a research on your search engine, just because there are a lot of resources online. This will give you an idea of, okay, this is what this is about. That's the first step. Then the next step is just to understand that you already understand that this is an approval request to manage leave request in the company. You already understand that these are the type of data. You are going to be working with the employee's name. You're going to be working with the manager's name. You're going to be working with the type of leave, which will be a choice column, which is vacation leave, sick leave, maternity leave, and training leave. You're going to be working with a column that is showing you can do the calculation inside of the app. You're going to be working with a column that will be showing the vacation days remaining. You are going to be working with a a status column. You are also going to be working with this other part of it, which is the holiday length of the vacation. You're also going to be working with data there. So you can be able to understand that, okay, this is how the process would look like. This is how the approval is going to work. The approval is that once the person clicks submit, an email is sent out. When the manager gets the email, there is a link inside of the email that they can click on, and they would view that request that has been made. Okay. So you can work on this as a project, but just have a basic understanding that, okay, this is what I can do, this is what I can do, this is how I can implement it. Okay. Then the advice, making your search engine your best friend. Like, learn how to do research online. Don't be scared when you are given a task. Try to do research. Then if you do not get anything, you can then look for people you can reach out to ask questions. Then when you have an error message, solving an error message right now is very simple, because you have ChatGPT, you have Copilot, you have your search engine. You can easily just copy the error message and ask ChatGPT, how can I solve this? Or you can easily just copy the question and paste it in your search engine. You'll be able to see blog posts that people have written on how they solve that problem. Okay. And if you are trying to build something, maybe you are trying to build an application, but you do not have a clue how that app design is going to look like, you can search online. You see a lot of app designs online that you can use that will just give you a little bit of idea. Okay, this is nice. Maybe I can implement this into my design. Okay. Then you have research on how to build a particular function. So maybe you want to do something like maybe calculation inside of Power Apps and you don't know how to do it. Just research online. You're going to see how you can go about it. Like, for instance, now this is an error message in Power Automate where it's asking me that you are not authorized to send email on behalf of the specified sending account. Okay, so if I do not have an idea of what this error message means, I'll just copy this error message and paste it in my browser, and I'll be able to see blogs that have talked about it, and to give me an idea that, okay, this is how I can solve it. Like, this is the cause for it, this is the cause for the error, or this is the way I can troubleshoot it and be able to solve the issue. Okay, so thank you so much, and yeah, thank you. And you can connect with me. You can send me an email. You can connect. I have a YouTube channel. You can connect with me on my YouTube channel, Rachel Dev Tech, and my LinkedIn, Rachel Irabor, and on Twitter, Richie for Love. Yeah.
That was great. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Thank
Amazing
you.
information. So, um, let's see if you have any questions.
Yeah. So
Okay.
Rachel, there was one that we had. Somebody got ahead of the game, which I love it. On LinkedIn, we had a question
Yeah.
from yesterday. So, how do you suggest balancing use of Power Platform with other Microsoft services like Azure to have a more comprehensive solution?
Okay. So, for instance, for Azure, you have cognitive services. So you can build a Power Apps application. And then before you go to Power Apps application, maybe you have already built the design already. You can go to your Azure Cognitive Service. You can train your model. Like you can train your model. Maybe you want it that when a particular animal is like your camera, when you use your when you train your model that okay, this animal, this is what is the name for the animal, or this car, this is the name for the car. Okay, then you bring that into Power Apps, that model you have trained. You bring it into Power Apps, and then that's your app would not start working like a camera where you can point it at a particular car and it will read the data that okay, this is the type of car that you are currently seeing.
Got
Yeah,
it.
yeah. So
Very cool.
it's
Great idea.
amazing. You can try a lot of Azure services in the Power Platform. Yeah, yeah.
We'll offer. I'm just checking our other for any of our viewers. If there's any questions, great time. I know Rachel's got all kind of creative solutions up her sleeves. So, but yeah, if anybody has any questions, please put them in the comments now, and then we can bring them up. Yeah, I will say over the years, Rachel, I know you said PVA. I still have Power Virtual Agent socks upstairs. I wear them occasionally just to reminisce. It's no longer, or wasn't Copilot Studio at that time,
Yeah,
um, but it was wild. Even then, to have AI Builder and have a lot of those
yeah,
other things that originally started. I don't know that they got a great footing, just maybe due to timing, just wasn't right, but.
yeah,
It's nice to see how like grown up they are over time,
yeah,
and
yeah,
it's like how that entire environment is. Like now we're seeing things that are popping up like researcher and stuff too out of different parts of that environment.
yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, and I think it was a great idea to move it from Power Visual Agent now to Copilot Studio. Like,
yeah,
apart from it being amazing, having that Copilot name makes it intriguing. Like, okay,
yeah.
okay. Yeah,
What
yeah,
I particularly like, I mean, I've been good with building forms and making things look nice over the years, but now I'm getting in my lazier years, and I'm like, here, can you just make this look this way, or more prompting of it's like, here, I got something that I'm struggling with, and I can
yeah,
legitimately have a conversation with Power Platform now to even just make it look nicer or make it work
yeah,
better or make improvements on the fly where maybe I'm just not as good with Power FX as I'd like to admit. And
yeah. Me too. I think I prefer modern driven app than
yeah,
Canvas app. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Prefer modern driven
I
apps.
agree. Model driven is the way to go. So.
Prefer modern driven app.
But I am not seeing any other questions. Abdul, any thoughts? Anything you'd like to bring up or
No
cover?
questions for me. This honestly, this is not really my expertise, so don't know what questions to ask. But
Yeah.
No worries. Well,
Okay.
Rachel, thank you so much for coming back. Love having you as a returning guest. So love the energy, especially at like now 1 o'clock in the morning your time. So
Yeah, it's
thank you
almost
so very
two.
much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But yeah, great job, and we'll see you soon. So
Yeah.
maybe
Thank you.
a third return at some point. So.
Yeah. Fingers crossed. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you all, viewers. We appreciate you as always. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye now.
bye bye.